Hey, Rob from Order 42 here, and today we're discussing Godzilla vs. Kong. Yes, it's finally here after, a year on the shelf? It's been a long time. Finally got to see it, and yeah, how'd it go? Well, we'll get into that. In fact, let's just get into it now. Godzilla vs. Kong, directed by Adam Wingard, is a sequel to both Godzilla King of the Monsters and Kong Skull Island, and is the fourth film in Legendary's MonsterVerse. The film stars Alexander Skarsgård, Millie Bobby Brown, Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry, Julian Dennison, Kyle Chandler, and Demián Bichir. I'm going to be honest with you up front. I am not the target audience for this movie, okay? Kaiju movies are sometimes cool, but most of the time they're just a bunch of action scenes with a pretty mediocre story around it. I'm just calling it like I see it, okay? But that doesn't mean that if you love this movie, if you love movies like this, that you're somehow wrong, you know? I'm just saying, look, from my point of view, this is how I see it. And further, I will say that you don't go into a movie called Godzilla vs. Kong expecting this amazing, epic, multi-layered, threaded film with comments on the human condition. That's not what this is for. This is an event, right? This is something that you want to try to see it on the largest screen you can, and hopefully in the loudest theater that you can. That's what this is for. It's an event. Why would I dog on that? It's part of the reason why I love movies. So, in this review, I will just say that, yeah, I may touch on some spoilers, but I got to be honest with you, the story is kind of inconsequential here. So let's get into the bad, right? The bad, I think, number one, the story is just a classic example of a reverse engineered story. They really started with the end, and they said, okay, we want this fight to happen, right? Let's just try to reverse engineer how we get there. That's really what all it is. And every story beat was highly telegraphed. Okay, I mean, very, very easy to see where this story is going. You know, it's just one of my problems with it is that, to me, a movie is a lot of things, but story is important. And without a story and the characters, all the characters, save two, are paper thin. I mean, anyone could have played the parts. It's weird that they got as good of actors as they did, because I really don't understand why. I don't know. I don't get it. Why did you need to pay these name actors when anybody could have done the job? And for our first little foray into some spoiler territory, what's with all the crazy tech, right? I mean, oh my God, if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, there's this amazing technology that the humans bring forth with no explanation. I don't understand how this is a logical, move from the previous movies. The previous movies didn't have all this future tech and anti-gravity vehicles. Really? Where did all this come from? And seriously, with an anti-grav vehicle, okay? Do you really need LED lighting in your anti-gravity vehicle? My single biggest issue with the movie is this idea that the core of our planet is not only hollow, but is home to these huge creatures. Why? What is this? I mean, was it cool looking? Sure, it's cool looking. It just doesn't make any freaking sense. And you might say, well, Rob, you're watching a movie with giant lizards and gorillas fighting each other. Sure, but at least you could kind of explain that away with, it's because of nuclear radiation or something, kind of what we've always heard about these characters. Why does the Earth have to be hollow? And I mean, seriously, you're telling me no one on the planet, no scientist in the history of humankind has ever figured out that the Earth is hollow and home to all of these creatures, and that the land is somehow split, and there's like this gravity line in between them, and as you pass through it, that gravity changes. What is this? What kind of movie did we just step into? It's nuts. Like, As soon as that happened, it immediately put a ceiling on how much I was going to enjoy this movie because I kept rolling my eyes, going, "What is this? This doesn't make any sense. I just don't understand why you had to go there. I just don't get it." Because really, the only point of it was so Kong could have a weapon. That's really, and a home, I guess. But why couldn't you just keep him on Skull Island? That's his home, right? Why couldn't you just have this, Thor hammer sitting on the planet somewhere? I don't understand it. It's questionable to introduce the hollow earth theory, okay? But if you're going to do that, why? Oh, why didn't you stage a fight to happen in this crazy gravity thing? That would have been kind of neat. I mean, don't you think? All of that stuff is just look, it's really a lot of the human story. I just don't care, right? It's the same reason why I've never been a big fan of the Transformers movies, because they spend so much time with the humans, right? And I understand, oh, well, Jaws doesn't spend all of the time with the shark. True, but you at least had characters that I could latch onto and care about. That, I think, is the major issue. If you told a good story with those characters, I probably would have been in. So let's get into the good stuff. Okay, I mean, look, I dogged on it a little bit, sure. But I have to say, the two main reasons to watch this movie aren't Godzilla and Kong. For me, Kong and the little deaf girl. I loved that. It gave the movie heart. It gave the movie purpose. I felt like there was actually a narrative thread that was moving forward with those two characters. Unfortunately, they didn't spend a whole lot of time with the two of them. I mean, it's almost like, oh, we need this heartwarming thing to happen. Okay, let's have them do a thing. It's just come on, you had something really, really good there and you didn't capitalize on it. And I find that that's just a big misstep. But anyway, I really did enjoy the relationship between Kong and this girl. It's amazing stuff. I will also say that the score was really good. I really enjoyed it. I mean, there was a lot of sort of callbacks to almost like, especially even with the color scheme, you had this very almost cyberpunk, high neon 80s kind of feel to it. And the score kind of reflected that a little bit too, because there was some a little bit of a Blade Runner influence there, which was, I liked it. And a lot of the music was really, really good. I didn't really care for a lot of the pop songs they decided to throw in there. I felt it to be a little distracting and strange choices, especially when it's Kong. I don't know. Technically, I think the movie is almost flawless. The sound design. The sound design has been one of the highlights of all of these movies. Whoever's doing the work with the sound is just ridiculously good. I mean, I've said it before many times, is that one of my favorite scenes, probably in the last 20 years when it comes to sound, is the scene in the original Godzilla film when whatever monster it is walking by the train tracks, and all of the sounds, the deep rumblings, and it almost sounds like it's something very mechanical about it, but it's slowed down and pitched down to this. It's just beautiful stuff. And the same kind of sound work is done here. It is insanely good. The CG is phenomenal. Like, photoreal. I can't believe this isn't real. This looks amazing stuff. I mean, I'm really, really impressed with that stuff. And their lighting choices were just, they really were beautiful. And some of the framing, the direction of the action because I mean, let's be honest, that's why we're here, right? The big fights. And the big fights are amazing. I was having a great time watching those. It's just that when you cut away to some characters doing a thing that are just shells of characters. In fact, one of the, I guess, villains in the movie probably only had 12 lines in the entire movie. Show up every now and then, say something snarky, move on to the next scene. I'm just like, what is this character here? And then, well, let's just be honest. You don't have to worry about that person too long. So yeah, there's going to be people that will say, Rob, you're missing the point of it. The point of it is the fights. True. But how many of you that love this movie, I'm just asking a question here, okay? How many of you are going to watch the entire film from beginning to end? How many of you are going to probably, like me, if I were to buy this, only watch the cool scenes? You'd skip over all of the pointless human stuff. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This movie's just not for me, but that doesn't mean that it didn't achieve what it set out to do. You know, Roger Ebert famously said, a movie's not what it's about, it's how it's about it. So in that respect, did the movie achieve its goals? I think yes. So on that note, I'm going to give this movie a 3.25 out of 4 stars. That seems high, right? That seems high to most of you. You're probably like, wow, Rob, with everything that you said, I don't see how you could give it a 3.25 out of 4. That's a 3.25 out of 4 for the people that are going to watch this movie. And you know who you are. You know who you are. But the people that go, I don't know about this movie. Those people, it's a 2.5 out of 4. That's me. I just think it's really funny that it's taken me, 4 movies to realize that these movies are just not going to be for me, right? It only took me 2 Fast and Furious movies for me to realize that those weren't for me. I guess it took 4 for me here. So, Godzilla vs. Kong. I know there's probably some kaiju community members that are probably not going to be too happy with me, but hey, I got to tell it like it is. I got to tell you what I saw and how I experienced it. So there you go. But I'm really curious what you think. Let me know down below your thoughts on all this, and I guess that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.